Previously on Gearz.
But joining us right now, live from Cape Town, a guy I think he's very, very excited. How are you doing, Steve Smith?
Hello, Sasha. How's it going?
I'm very, very well. We can only see half your head there, Steve.
How's that?
There we go. You must be... Ooh, what a nice shirt you're wearing, Steve.
Thank you very much.
You must be quite happy on two fronts. Number one, the Red Bulls dominated. Well, the Red Bull of Sebastian Vettel dominated over the weekend. And you have been one very lucky man driving one of my favorite cars in the whole wide world over the last couple of days.
Yes, look, we have become accustomed to success here at Red Bull. So it was nothing out of the ordinary for us. But that said, I will admit to being a closet Kimi fan. So, yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one for me, put it that way. But let's leave that alone, lest I get some people phoning me and saying, why am I not supporting Sebastian enough?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been driving an M6.
Oh, my word!
Yeah, what a car, man. Jeez, Sasha. You know, you get cars, as a motoring journalist, you drive cars all the time, and some you don't mind handing back because they're not great cars or because they're just too kind of scary and too fast. But this is one car that is going to break my heart to give back to BMW.
I can only imagine. I've been fortunate enough to see one here in Johannesburg on the road, but that is as close as I've gotten to one. Tell us about this, how it has changed from the previous one.
Well, look, I've always been a fan of the 6 Series. I mean, right back to that 3-liter CSL Batmobile of the sort of early 70s to the next generation in the 80s. They've always been cars that I've loved, and I love the previous generation. It's one of my favorite M cars. It wasn't everyone's cup of tea. It was quite bluntly styled. I don't think everyone liked that, but there was a brutality to its styling. It was a kind of pragmatic hooligan, really, which I loved. This one is a lot more refined in many ways. Look, it doesn't have the V10 that the last one had, which is a very sophisticated engine. This one's got a 4.4 liter twin turbo V8, which is quicker, and it's got that kind of particular V8 engine note. But overall, the car's a bit more refined, and I don't know. I thought I knew that coming into it, and I thought, okay, I might be disappointed because I loved the last one, but I've actually found myself appreciating what BMW have done with this.
Listen, it looks extraordinary. I think the shape as well, and I was a massive fan of the old 635 CSL, from those days. But this one, it just even looks better than the previous 6 Series model in M6. The twin turbo thing, you know what I mean? I'm sure the sound, and I haven't heard it at full rasp as yet, but I'm sure the BMW have always been notorious for magic sounds. But does it, as much as you say it's refined, does it still have that rawness that an M BMW should have?
It's got it in its sound. I'll give it that. And mine came with these special Krapovich exhausts, these carbon fiber exhausts, and the sound's also they're kind of sneakily piped into the car through the B&O sound system. So you hear the sound, and it sounds like a proper sports car. It's raspy. The downshifts just, you know, I mean, they make your toes curl. It's brilliant. So it's got all that. All the kind of oral stuff is there as a great sports car. The handling and the gearbox have got a lot more refined. So if you drove the last M6, that SMG gearbox is pretty brutal. I mean, it was like the gear changes were like bam, bam, bam. They were hard. This one, it's got a 7-speed auto MDCT gearbox. It's a little smoother, still very quick. I mean, still probably quicker, I think, just a little bit less mechanical. And the handling is, I mean, you know, what we've got now is basically a continental cruise missile of a car. It's a luxury GT. I mean, this is the kind of car that really should, I don't know. It should have kind of little wings and a US flag and a destination Afghanistan painted on the side, actually, because it's a cruise missile that just flies really low to the ground, actually.
Well, I'm glad that they got the handling even more refined, because I think that was one of the problems on the previous M. It seemed to be just a little bit too tail happy, maybe with the slightly different engine. They may have got the weight balances a little bit better.
Yeah, look, I've read some criticisms of the car that it doesn't give you enough sensory feedback, and maybe the steering's a little dull. But look, this is a luxury car. It's not a track day special. It's the kind of car that you're not gonna take out in Kyalami or whatever circuit. It's the kind of car you're gonna drive quick on a freeway. For me, it gave me plenty of feedback. It's a very tight chassis. There's no body roll. There's acres of grip on the big 20-inch tires that it came with. And also with these new BMWs and with all M cars, you can really toggle between what kind of car you want. So you can adjust the kind of steering feedback. You can adjust the suspension settings. You can adjust the engine mapping. You can switch off the traction control if you're stupid. You can do all that kind of stuff. And I see writers talking about how they got it sideways and they switched the traction control off. I don't know. It's a 1.4 million rand car. I'm not switching the damn traction control off on South African roads, that's for sure.
Yeah, you do get some crazy motoring journos out there. Steve, what about the space inside? I mean, is this it's a GT kind of car. It's got the 2 seats in the back. Is it big enough for 4?
Not for adults.
Okay.
I mean, certainly it's big enough for a couple of kids at the back, as any really sort of 2+2 coupe is. It's got a fairly big boot at 460 liters, so it kind of I like to think you could squeeze it in as a family car.
I like the way you're thinking there, Steve. Now you just got to convince the bank man if he could just give you a couple of shekels.
Yeah. Look, okay, if there's one downside to the car, it's probably its price. And I don't just mean 1.4 is a lot of money, which is obviously it's a massive amount of money, but it puts it in an interesting kind of ballpark if you have got 1.44, to be accurate, $1 million or million rands lying around your bank account. Because now we're suddenly talking Porsche 911. In fact, it's a little bit more than a 911. It's the same price as an Audi R8. So that gets tricky then, because both those cars would be like really high up on my kind of ultimate desirable list. The R8 less so from a practicality point of view, but I mean it's such a brilliant car. Then the 911, that is one of the great cars of all time. So that's the one thing that I would think. Okay, if I was thinking about where I was going to spend my money, I wouldn't be too sure. I think you'd probably have to be a diehard M6 fan to choose it over the Porsche, possibly.
Well, you see, the advantage the M6 has over those two, the Porsche and the R8, is that you can fit your golf clubs in the M6.
That is true. So for family men and ardent golfers, the M6 is the car for you.
Oh, it's magic. When do you have to give it back?
Only on Monday. Can you believe it?
Oh, you bastard!
No, also, it was actually offered to me last Friday, so I could have had it for the weekend. I only picked it up this Monday. But Cindy very kindly phoned me and said, listen, I've had a cancellation. Do you want to take it for the weekend? But we were away for the weekend, and I needed to take my mountain bike. I know you're going to hate the story. But I had to take my mountain bike with me to put in some miles for the race I'm doing next month. So I had to say, actually, sorry, Cindy, no. So it was in the garage for the weekend, but then I've been having fun since then.
That's a bit of a fail, Steve.
I know.
You know what I mean? You could have done a bit of mountain bike training maybe late this evening or very early tomorrow morning. You don't miss out on an extra weekend with an M6, buddy.
and we went to Barrydale, so I had these like miles and miles of
man.
deserted, pristine road to drive on. I did feel like a bit of an idiot in hindsight, actually.
No, but that's amazing. Well, listen, enjoy the rest of the week with the car. I'm sure you'll give us even more of an update next week on it as well. But I think it's wonderful. I look forward to hopefully driving it one of these days as well.
Yeah, it's a brilliant car, and I'm going to be terribly sad.
Excellent, my friend. Look after yourself. When is your cycle race? This weekend?
No, it's next week. It's next month, but it's a 3-day stage race of sort of 100 kilometers a day on my single speed bike. So I've got a bit of training to do.
Oh yeah, gee whiz, that sounds gripping. Only joking, Steve. All of the best. We'll speak to you next week, my friend. Cheers, man.
Sasha.
Bye. There we go. The M6. Wow. That sounds like something quite extraordinary. Sure. Looking forward to that.
Weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Central African Time.
Beautiful.
Gearz with Sasha Martinengo on bulls.co.za.